Welcome to Module 1, Chapter 4, Security Management. In this chapter, we focus on cost effectiveness and loss reporting. As security professionals, our role goes beyond protecting assets, we must also demonstrate value. This chapter will help you understand how to measure, justify, and clearly communicate the financial impact of security programs to leadership. Let's begin by exploring why cost effectiveness is essential in today's security environment. Security leaders are expected to speak the language of business. Cost effectiveness is about showing how security initiatives reduce risk while using resources wisely. Loss reporting provides the data that supports these decisions. Together, they allow us to explain how security investments prevent losses, reduce exposure, and support organizational objectives. This chapter will guide you through the principles that connect protection strategies to measurable financial outcomes. Before we measure value, we must understand the problem we are trying to solve. Security risks can expand quickly if not properly managed. Effective loss reporting tracks incidents, identifies patterns, and provides reliable data. This information supports cost-benefit analysis and ensures decisions are based on facts rather than assumptions. By clearly defining risks and gathering accurate data, we create a solid foundation for evaluating cost effectiveness. Cost effectiveness means achieving the best possible protection outcomes with the resources available. It involves minimizing costs while maximizing returns and carefully balancing risk. Security programs must justify expenses by demonstrating measurable reductions in loss or risk exposure. Leaders want assurance that funds are being used efficiently and strategically. Ultimately, cost effectiveness ensures that security contributes real value rather than being viewed solely as an expense. Several key elements determine cost effectiveness. First, loss prevention, reducing the likelihood and impact of incidents. Second, evaluating actual losses compared to acceptable risk levels. Third, observing operational improvements, such as fewer disruptions, safer environments, and better compliance. When we analyze these elements together, we can clearly demonstrate whether a security initiative delivers meaningful results and supports business objectives. Small savings can produce significant long-term value. For example, reducing response time, preventing minor losses, or avoiding equipment misuse may seem minor individually, but over time, these improvements add up. By tracking duration, cost per hour, and losses avoided, we can calculate tangible savings. This cumulative approach helps leadership understand how consistent, well-managed security practices generate measurable financial benefits for the organization. From a financial perspective, security must be viewed in the context of overall business performance. When an organization generates hundreds of millions in revenue, even a small percentage of loss can translate into significant dollars. Likewise, the cost of a security program must be weighed against the potential impact of not having one. Senior management evaluates security the same way they assess any investment, by comparing costs, risk exposure, and potential savings. Our responsibility is to present security not as overhead, but as a function that protects revenue, reduces loss, and safeguards organizational value. Return on investment, or ROI, measures the financial return generated by an investment compared to its cost. In security, ROI is often calculated by subtracting the cost of the investment from the value of losses avoided, then dividing by the cost of the investment. The process involves identifying current loss levels, implementing a solution, and measuring results over time. While ROI in security can be challenging to quantify, structured analysis and reliable data allow us to demonstrate that prevention efforts create measurable financial benefits. This case study illustrates how addressing nuisance fire alarms can generate substantial savings. Frequent false alarms create hidden costs, disruptions, lost productivity, emergency response expenses, and reputational impact. By investing in corrective measures such as system upgrades or staff training, an organization can significantly reduce alarm incidents. Over time, the reduction in false alarms translates into avoided losses that exceed the initial investment. This example demonstrates how targeted improvements can deliver strong ROI and measurable operational benefits. Consolidation. Technology investments often yield savings through efficiency and consolidation. In the radio's example, upgrading outdated communication systems may require upfront capital but reduces maintenance costs and improves reliability over time. Similarly, consolidating surveillance centers can lower staffing and operating expenses while enhancing oversight and response capabilities. These case studies show that well-planned security investments not only improve protection but also streamline operations and reduce long-term costs. Effective security metrics answer 4 essential questions. What are we trying to accomplish? How will we measure it? How much is it costing us? And is it worth the investment? Gathering accurate data requires consistent reporting, clear definitions, and reliable tracking systems. Metrics should align with organizational objectives and focus on outcomes rather than activity alone. When presented clearly, these measurements provide decision-makers with the information needed to evaluate performance and allocate resources wisely. When presenting metrics to senior management, clarity and relevance are critical. Focus on information that aligns with strategic goals and financial priorities. Avoid technical jargon and instead translate data into business impact, cost savings, risk reduction, and operational improvements. Tailor the message to the audience, present trends over time, and distinguish between meaningful metrics and routine statistics. By presenting concise, data-driven insights, security leaders strengthen credibility and support informed executive decision-making. Developing a strong business case is essential for gaining approval for security initiatives. A proposal is far more likely to succeed when security is seen as a trusted business partner rather than simply a cost center. The key principle is alignment. Your recommendation must clearly support organizational goals, whether those goals focus on growth, efficiency, compliance, or risk reduction. Decision-makers may not automatically recognize security's value, so it is our responsibility to clearly explain how the investment contributes to a safer, more resilient, and more profitable organization. A well-developed business case connects protection strategies directly to measurable business outcomes. Writing a business case can be simplified into a structured process. Begin with an executive summary that clearly defines the issue. Next, describe the problem in measurable terms and explain the risks of inaction. Outline the proposed solution and justify it with data, including financial analysis and expected benefits. Identify alternatives considered and explain why the recommended option is preferred. Assess risks, define implementation steps, and conclude with a clear request for approval. Following a consistent framework strengthens credibility and increases the likelihood of executive support. Predictive modeling allows the security organization to move from reactive response to proactive prevention. By analyzing historical loss data, trends, and patterns, we can identify vulnerable assets, high-risk times and locations, and areas where countermeasures may be weak. This approach helps prioritize resources and allocate budgets more effectively. Instead of waiting for incidents to occur, predictive modeling enables leadership to anticipate threats and implement targeted strategies that reduce risk exposure before losses happen. Pilot testing is a practical way to evaluate security initiatives before full-scale implementation. By testing solutions in controlled environments, we can measure performance, refine countermeasures, and determine cost-effectiveness. At the same time, building and maintaining a reliable loss database is critical. Accurate, consistent reporting across the enterprise provides the foundation for ROI analysis and informed decision-making. In conclusion, cost-effectiveness and loss reporting are about demonstrating measurable value. When security leaders align with business goals, apply structured analysis, and communicate clearly, they strengthen their influence at the executive level. Thank you for your attention. If you found this presentation helpful, please like and subscribe for more insights on security management and professional development.